Hello, everyone. Thanks once again for being here. I am Maick, your host, and welcome to episode 3 of Talking Times. We will have an amazing talk as always, and today we're going to talk about movies, series. And I have here with me Willi Ribeiro. He's a teacher at Times Idiomas and movie lover. So we're going to have an amazing conversation about that. Leave your question or comments on the chat. We are going to read during this transmission too, okay? But not now, right after our intro. Hello, Willi. Thank you so much for being here, man.
Thanks for having me here.
Can you introduce yourself to our listeners, please?
Yeah, sure. My name is Willi. I think that's important to start explaining something.
Okay.
Normally people, they ask like, is that your real name? And yes, that's my real name. It's not short for William or something
I
else.
get that a lot too.
It is Willi. I have been working as an English teacher for the past 12 years, and I really like teaching English. Not only just teaching English, but I also like movies and TV shows, and that's why I'm here today.
Okay. When did you realize that you really loved movies and series?
I think that started back in there when I was a kid watching cartoons and then the movies with all the family together. And okay, the first movies that I have watched with my entire family and brought back some memories and created everything that I know as a movie lover. So that was the beginning.
Okay. Do you have like a top 2 or 3 that are really nostalgic for you? That the first shows or movies you watched together with your family?
I remember once the franchising Jurassic Park.
Oh, of course.
I was like kind of a little kid, and that was super special because it was the first time seeing something with so many different effects on the screen. It was fantastic. So I remember that one.
As a kid, it was probably mind-blowing as well. How are they doing this on the screen? Nice.
It was very different because the effects were totally different from the ones that we had at that time.
Yeah, and what about the cartoons, man? What were your favorite as a
Man,
kid?
that's so hard because I liked so many, but I think one of the famous ones, Dragon Ball, like
Of course.
Japanese animation, it was one of that I
Now the
liked the
otakus
most.
are getting happy, huh?
Yeah, so I think Dragon Ball, Pokemon, and many others
You
like
mean like
that.
the classic Dragon Ball with Goku as a kid and all the...
I started the one with him as a kid,
Okay.
and then it evolved over time.
All right, now I'm getting ahead of myself, but is it a good idea to make an adaptation about some of these cartoons or animes? Like a Dragon Ball adaptation? How do you see that? Okay, I know there is one that there are many lovers of it, but how do you see it, Willi?
My experience with adaptations from animation is not good. You mentioned one title that I think it is very important. That is Dragon Ball. Oh, that is a fiasco, man. They shouldn't have done that because it is totally different from what we fans expected from that movie.
Yes, and I don't get it. If you are making something and you have a target audience, why don't you make a fan service? You know,
Right.
like I remember the first Mortal Kombat movie. Oh, I loved that one. Have you watched this one?
I watched all of them, and they are really great, but different in some senses. It was kind of scary at that time.
Yeah,
stay
a
like,
lot. A lot.
But they were good.
Okay, do you know they are making one that is from Sanseiya Knights of the Zodiac?
Yes, I've seen that, but I don't think I have an opinion on that because I didn't watch. But based on the character, the way they built their armor and everything, I don't know. But I'm really
Skeptical?
expecting. Yeah, I'm kind of skeptical because it is different. But yeah, let's see.
Man, I will be honest with you. I have zero expectations because if it's anything but good, I'm gonna get happy. You know, I'm gonna be very happy. I had a bad experience with a lot of these movies too. I remember when I saw the Street Fighter one. As a kid, I liked it because of the actors and Claude Van Damme. Oh, Blanca there. But nowadays it's difficult, huh? So I imagine they would do something similar. Power Rangers, you know?
Yes.
Have you seen the latest one?
Of course, like
Is it bad? I haven't.
I think I had the contact with the Japanese ones,
Yeah.
not just the American version
Uh-huh.
and the Japanese one.
Okay. And Willie, as a movie lover, what can you tell to your listeners that are movies and series worth watching nowadays? You know.
I think one of the main one is The Last of Us, guys. Please watch that.
Okay.
If they didn't have this context, they have to, because this TV show, it is an adaptation of a game that is amazing. And I think the acting is great, the visual effects is also, the story itself, and I think it is totally related to what people have contacted the game, so they have to watch that. It is pretty great.
Everything they put Pedro Pascal. It's good, you know. Narcos, Game of Thrones, The Last of Us. You know, he was in that old show, Buffy the Vampire Killer. You know.
Was he?
Yeah, he was one of the characters there, you know. I will recommend one as well. If you like superheroes and you want to see a crazy perspective about that, watch the one that is called The Boys, okay? It's very violent, it's gory, but if you like this type of show, you're gonna love it. It's like, imagine Superman, it's kind of a bad person, let's say something like this, you know. I cannot say bad words. So you're gonna enjoy it, okay? Have you ever been like watching some series, and then you got really disappointed at the end?
Yes,
That's the time I'll check the chat as well.
yeah, I think I recall one. That there is one specifically is Lost. It's a very old one.
Oh my God.
During the entire series, the TV show was amazing, but the last episode, the way that they ended up the story, I said, but why, guys? Why did you had that move? And that was kind of disappointing.
All right, guys, the series is from 2006, so that's not a spoiler. You were late. All right, let's see if we got the same thing. I understood that basically what was happening on that island were like two gods fighting, and the people, they were like pawns on their hands. Was something like that?
It is hard to tell because it's been a while since I last watched the TV show, and now reading the theories about that. So I think in my mind is everything mixed.
Yeah, the social media we used to use on that time to have like these forums and discussions was Orkut. I remember going on the forums. What was your favorite season from this show?
I think the first one was totally different from what I was used to, because it brought lots of mysteries and flashbacks. I really enjoyed that flashbacks and knowing more about the characters. They were totally different because I was used to stories like a kind of storytelling that was linear, and they were coming back and forth. It was great.
Yeah, there's a movie about that with Guy Pearce. It's called Memento. Okay, this one I cannot give you any spoilers because it would ruin it. But it's a guy that he lost his long-term memory. He only has short-term memory. Or it's the opposite. No, it's the opposite, sorry. He doesn't have short-term memory, so he writes his notes and tattoos all over his body. And it's kind of a criminal movie, so you don't watch like beginning, middle, and end. You watch like middle, beginning, and then part of the end. So the way you watch the story is totally crazy. I recommend it. Memento, okay?
Great.
All right. You mentioned Lost. Were you shipping Kate with Jack or with Sawyer?
No, with Jack, because Sawyer, he was a bad guy.
Come
so
on.
I'm team for the good ones.
That's it, guy. Bye. No. This is something, I'm joking, of course, but it happens a lot with shows. You know, the fights, for example, is like a team Fulano, team Ciclano, like, you know, the Iron Man and Captain America. Have you ever watched Vampire Diaries?
Oh, no, I haven't.
No, I'm not judging it. It's because it's something that happens a lot. Like some people love the character Damon and some people love Stefan. And the fans, they fight a lot about that, you know. Have you ever follow any show that you really, really like the characters to the point that you would fight and defend their honor online, anything like that?
I think so. I think we have an example that is Breaking Bad.
Oh.
In Breaking Bad, it is something that is totally it's likely to happen. So it's a reality about people that go through bad situations and they have to come up with a solution for that. And yes, that one is because all the moves that they have taken, it's like you can say, yeah, that's totally that's likely to happen.
Yeah.
And I think they were correct, like many different ways. So
Yeah, the Breaking Bad, I remember the big fight was about Skyler, lovers and haters as well, and other moments in the show. Did you like, no spoilers please, but did you like the ending of Breaking Bad?
I did. I think they had the right move to end in proper. I think that it was the 5th season, and
Yeah.
they decided, okay, that's the end, and it was great because from the beginning to the end, they kept the quality.
Yeah, that's true, man. There is if you liked Breaking Bad, I will give you a lot of recommendations, guys. Okay, so have a filter. But Ozarks, you can watch it on Netflix. Is similar vibe, not exactly the same. And Sons of Anarchy is very similar. The idea of gangs and criminals and the unexpected surprise. Okay, all right. I don't want to put you on a tight spot, but what's your view on Game of Thrones, man?
That's not hard to say because
Okay.
I really love it. And
The whole show?
oh, of course, yeah. There is just a point that I have to talk about the fight that was totally dark, the biggest one that everybody had like high expectations about how it would end, and it was completely dark. I think that's just the dark side of the TV show because the TV show is amazing.
Yeah, I have the same thoughts. The biggest problem with that show, in case you don't know, they changed the writers and the showrunners basically. So they had to, I don't know, adapt a gigantic book in like one season, and then they start to rush things, you know. I was very disappointed with Daenerys, you know.
But why?
Because the whole show it had a development like, okay, I'm here to free the slaves, and she had this kind of perspective to help the people in need there, and then she was just torching the entire city like her great grandfather, I guess, you know, like. So I got a little bit. Maybe they should have had more time, you know, to make her do that. That was the impression, and I don't know. I didn't like what they did with Jaime Lannister too, you know, and especially about Brienne. I liked Brienne so much, you know, and I was shipping them, you know, in the show as well.
But basically, most of the characters they were shown in different phases. For
Yeah.
example, Sansa. She started as the sweet girl, like the father's daughter.
Yeah,
and
Beverly
then-
Hill girl in Game of Thrones, in Westeros. Yeah.
And most of them, they went through bad things and they become like hard-hearted. And then they say,
Yeah.
okay, now I have to do what I gotta do. And they changed it. And they acted accordingly to the situation, to what they have been through. So I think it was okay. I understand that Daenerys, she had that purpose of helping, but as a ruler, she had to be like hard sometimes, and I think that's changed her.
Yeah, maybe. And especially about the family history, they put this on some of the other seasons there, but I said they are not gonna do that with her. And then, yeah. Who was your favorite character there?
Wow, I don't know. It was hard to tell because in different seasons I had my favorite ones because they had
okay.
the spot on different characters throughout the TV show. And then I said, oh, but that one is good. For example, Daenerys. She started as like the main one, but then Sansa was different in the middle to the end. And it depends.
I like it, Tyrion, very much because of the speeches. You know, the lines were so good, especially about when he's talking to Jon Snow about being a bastard, using that as a shield. I said, wow, nice. And Arya as well, you know, because she goes kind of, I don't want to be the princess one, like it's a Mulan vibe, you know. All right, favorite animation, man, or top 3 maybe.
Ooh, well, that's hard. Animation. I like
I'm gonna
Pixar.
go to the chat in a minute, okay, guys? Keep sending messages.
When we are dealing with animations, we have to talk about Pixar because Pixar is like the best ones because that involves not only themes for kids but also some layers of understanding that only adults ones can have. And I really like these ones because I always cry at the end.
No, me too, man. I told you before we were talking about the Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio. What a beautiful movie. Damn, I was totally surprised because being honest, I like Beauty and the Beast, The Lion King, Aladdin, but Pinocchio was one of the Disney adaptations that I was like, meh, okay, Then I decided to watch it, and it was really, really, really impressive. Do you have like a favorite Disney one as well?
Disney ones.
Yeah. Because there is another fight there as well. Pixar, Disney, they kind of do this.
But something that is interesting, everything started with Shrek. And then people started developing this kind of love and hate for animation because it changed the market. And I think Shrek made like some different point in history, and I would highlight Shrek as a point to go through. And Toy Story, man, I loved Toy Story.
Man, the two examples you gave are perfect because they have that vibe that is very difficult to do, that you produce something that a kid can be entertained, a teenager, an adult, and old adults can watch the thing and learn something, really get involved, right? All right, let me take a look at the chat here. Okay, Memento is amazing, as it is. Okay, what does he think about the release of Titanic on Movies Celebration? Okay, the release on the 25th anniversary, man. Like 25 years ago, Titanic was there on the theater, and they are re-releasing the movie.
I think it is amazing. Titanic, it is not famous just because it is a random movie, but it's a nice production.
Yeah.
So it was invested. And we have DiCaprio, that his role is underrated in that movie.
Yeah.
Everybody sees like, oh, he's doing like the good guy who the girl falls in love. But the production of the movie, the quality, the acting, effects, it's amazing. If I recall correctly, it was the first movie that I have watched separately, because at that time it was like VCRs, like two different tapes.
Yeah.
And it was kind of nostalgic because of that. I really enjoyed that they're gonna do it.
And I remember it was crazy. Like everybody, like teens, they would have these posters of the movie about DiCaprio, And okay, getting this as an example, is the classic case of Romeo and Juliet, that happens a lot. Like, okay, rich girl, poor boy, and, impossible love, Why do you think, man, this kind of script sells so much,
Because people can relate to it. Because they can see themselves like real people that fall in love. Everybody falls in love eventually. And then this feeling of, okay, maybe I can fall in love for a person which is rich, and that can happen. And I think everybody wants to be loved, especially if the person is good looking, rich. So people can relate to the story. I don't know.
I can relate to that. Yeah, it makes sense, man. Yeah, so in this way, this idea sells so much because it's something that is present in everybody's hearts in a way. Like, oh, I would like to have that, Well, you mentioned before science fiction movies, but what do you think is the role of fantasy? Thinking about books, movies, series, For example, I am an adult and I love watching dragons flying on the screen, I love reading about dragons, Does that make me immature, because I love fantasy? How do you see that, man?
No, it's totally okay.
Yeah.
I think we need to get out of our comfort zone, things that we are used to, and we have to use our imagination, imagine different scenarios, and use the power of our mind with things, and we get entertained with this kind of content, and I think that's what we need, and that's why it's so famous for.
Yeah, makes sense, man. All right. Okay, let me see. There's one more thing. Oh, yeah, that's a nice one, Daniel. Okay, what do you think about Harry Potter, Willi?
Oh, people from Harry Potter, they're gonna hate me for that.
It's good. If they interact in the chat, no problem, man. Okay.
I used to hate Harry Potter.
Used to.
No, but let me be clear. I
Okay.
used to, but I love Harry Potter now because I read like the books, and then I got involved with the story and getting deeper and deeper. But my first contact was like, again, like movies for kids, like complaining about the quality of the movie, but they are amazing. It's a nice. What do you think about that?
Well, you see what I see what you did there. The first. What do you think about? Grab your popcorn. The first one I hated because I felt like it's a movie for kids. But then I watched the second, and then I said, all right. The Azkaban one, it hooked me, because something that I liked about Harry Potter is the characters of the movie, they evolve according to the audience, so it starts as something, it's like The Hobbit, for example. If you get the books, it's like a kid's book, Lord of the Rings, no. Silmarillion, no as well. So after the third movie, I really got hooked in this story, It took me 3 movies, but that was me, But what I'm gonna say next? My favorite fantasy movie of all time is that one that we will not mention right now, for later in the conversation, okay? Another comment here. Willi gave us a very good recommendation about the series The Severance during one of his classes. You have some students here watching. Nice, okay. Thanks, Lucas. I'm loving the series. Tell us, Willi, my friends, how are your expectations about the part 2 of The Severance?
I think I have high hopes for that because the TV show, the first episode, it opened up our mind to different realities, different things that we are not used to. It's a kind of those episodes that crazy things happen, such as Lost, away from Netflix, and it is a great one. And I think the characters, they are gonna explore different situations from the characters that I hope to see soon. So let's see.
Is it me or the Netflix synopsis? They suck. They're really bad. It's like a guy leaves his house and something happens. Well, but how would you sell this show, man?
No,
what
but
happens
this TV show is totally different. No spoilers, because it is already what people can have from the trailer of this TV show. It is a guy that has, whenever he enters to work, he gets unplugged with his memory from his life, his personal life. So he goes upstairs in the elevator, and then he gets back all his memories from work, and vice versa. When he leaves that, he can't recall what happens in the office, and he has just memory from his private life. And crazy things happens all the time.
Man, it's like you separate your brain too, and you have 2 different consciences there.
Yes, it's an amazing
There's
TV
an
show.
experiment in real life about that, Man,
but this one is not from Netflix. This one, it is from Apple TV.
Okay.
But it's a great one.
So if you don't have Apple TV, you can get one. Captain Jack Sparrow will not give you any recommendations about that. No, okay. Somebody told me about this one. Thank you so much, Lucas. Somebody here, let me see, who was it, mentioned the movie Donnie Darko. It was Danielle. Thanks, Danielle. All right, Donnie Darko is a mind-blowing movie. Have you seen it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, how can I tell about Donnie Darko without giving any spoiler?
It is that one that has a really giant rabbit.
Yes,
I've seen that. It's crazy, but I didn't watch fully.
Man, it is like with Jake Gyllenhaal, young Jake Gyllenhaal, but it's basically about these, you will love it, man, because you mentioned Interstellar. You have the theory about time traveling using wormholes and all of that. Okay, I can. If you like it, the series Dark, that is kind of a mind-blowing. It's the same vibe, basically a lot of things happening and people trying to solve it. The protagonist trying to solve it using time traveling, maybe. That's what I can say, because anything else would be a spoiler,
Okay, it's sold. I like that already.
I see better than Netflix synopsis. Okay. All right. Claudio mentioned that he likes Harry Potter. Okay. Something about Donnie Darko that is interesting. There is a book that you have in the movie, and there is a website in the movie that you can access on the web, and you can download the movie there. The book there. And so if you got confused about the movie, the book will give you an alternative explanation, you know? Well, Willi, how do the streaming changed the way people watch movies and series? Because you mentioned something that my parents used to tell me about the 70s and the 60s, that people used to gather at the living room to watch some show or movies together. So we didn't need actually a family-friendly filter, because that was the mother or the father with the remote there. So now in this era of streaming, how is this dynamics changing, the way we watch it?
I think it has changed a lot, but positively, because in the past we had to wait to watch TV shows on open TV channels, and we had the entire family. That was a positive aspect of that. But nowadays we can select the time that we have. We have busy lives. People have different routines. Sometimes not all the family can have even dinner together, lunch, but they can have their TV shows and comment whenever they can and say, okay, did you watch that one? You have to, because I want you to mention what happening there. I did that a lot with my siblings, and then we were watching separately but commenting on that, and it offers freedom, so you can have it on your own way, on your own pace, and that's positive.
On your phone.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like a link that you can use to have a chat with people you love, and interesting. Do you think that these streaming platforms, they will make the movie theater attendance decrease in the future?
I guess it's happening already. It's not that it's gonna happen, it's happening already.
Okay.
I don't think people will stop going to the movies, but I think the amount of people going there is gonna decrease dramatically, because people can have access to good quality from their own house, because we can have affordable prices for TV, like large ones, all the sound possible that you can have from better quality, and it is affordable nowadays.
Yeah,
so why not have that in the comfort of your home?
Yeah, when I think about it, I don't know if it will ever disappear, because there will always be some people that really love going there, because it's a unique experience in a way, right? But yeah, people are getting, I would not say lazy, but we want practicity,
There is a point that I would like to add. Like, some of my friends, we diverse in some different aspects about going to the movies, and some people, they really don't like the noise of the movies, people eating popcorn or even commenting during the movie.
Yeah.
Guys, I really hate that. So don't talk to me like during the movie, because I'm totally concentrated in there.
If you ever find Willi in a movie theater, grab your plastic bag, your popcorn, and eat something crunchy. He's gonna love it.
And others, they really think that that's what makes the experience in the movie theater good, because people can laugh together. So we have different point of views. I am from that side that I prefer the comfort of my home. I can really have a nice experience.
Okay. Have you ever gone to the movie theater by yourself?
Yes, I think I did, like once or twice.
How was it?
It was kind of weird. It's kind of okay. I had to go because I really wanted to watch that movie. I had like a tiny schedule. I couldn't make my friends meet at that time. It was good because I watched the movie that I wanted, but man, right after the movie, we have to comment. We have to mention like how it was, and I missed that part.
Do you remember which movie was it?
I think one, it was Avengers. I don't recall which one exactly.
Man, if it's the Infinity Wars that you have that ending with everybody becoming dust, it's a poor thing you couldn't chat with anyone else. Like, oh my God, somebody talk to me.
I really don't recall which one, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I remember I went to the movies. I was alone here in Campinas. Said, you know what? I'm gonna watch a movie. And it was that movie Mother with Jennifer Lawrence. It's a very polemic movie. I liked it because, well, it was surprising to say the least. But it's the type of movie that when you finish watching, you gotta talk to someone, because you will have a zillion theories in your head, And I had no one. Sad music. No. So I ended up making friends with a couple that was watching like next to me, and they were like, "What the heck?" And say, "Yes, I know." And then we started chatting, walking at the mall together. So, oh, thank you guys. Well, I don't even remember their names. I think I didn't even ask, you know. But yeah, it's kind of a not weird, but different experience,
Yeah, just casual friends. Sometimes we make them just to have someone to talk to,
Yeah.
just in case if you go alone. Yeah,
Mhm.
that makes sense.
Yeah, but in a way, guys, now honestly, it's an interesting experience because if you really love movies and you enjoy that, you're gonna be fully in the present, no distractions apart of the popcorn person next to you. But other than that, it's okay. Well, what about the Oscars, man? Do you normally watch it? Are you like die hard for Oscars? How do you see that?
I really appreciate this
Mhm.
the reward that they receive, like all the ceremony,
Mhm.
and I think I have watched it like in a row the last 5
Damn.
ceremonies. Yes, and I really enjoy it because I can get like the perspective from the academy, because there are many different festivals that they reward the best ones in their fields, but like the Oscar is the most famous. So
Okay, something interesting in the chat here. Simone, I don't know if you are trolling or not, but I liked this movie, so I'm gonna read it anyways. She mentioned Rampage, Total Destruction, features The Rock and a giant gorilla trying to save the world. I think I've heard this before. I am kind of suspicious to talk about this type of movies, like action movies that you have, like Michael Bay movies that is a lot of explosions, or the Stallone one,
Rambo?
the Expendables. I find these movies really entertaining. When you just want to relax, drink something, and watch and laugh. It's what they're for. So yes, if you want to see a gigantic gorilla saving the world with The Rock, that is not a gigantic human being, you're gonna have a lot of fun watching that. Do you watch it, like, I would say, silly movies? But I'm not judging here. Just like some movies, as we were talking before, you watch them because the story is intriguing, or maybe you're gonna get mind blown by them. Some other movies is just for a quick laugh, or maybe, I don't know, to feel anxious or to feel happy. Do you watch silly movies like this?
I do, and I really appreciate that. Sometimes I'm studying and doing 2 things at the same time and watching a movie. It's kind of crazy. I just select random one that I think it is kind of silly, but I have to share my last experience.
All
I
right.
just selected the movie to watch, and I said that's gonna be silly, so I'm gonna be studying here, doing some stuff, and then I started crying at the movie, and I said, okay, I stopped doing what I was doing, and then just pay attention. Then I cried once, twice, 3 times.
Well, what was the movie? John Wick?
Just if you are curious, guys, it's Close. It's a French movie called Close. It's 2022. I think it is a recent one, but that was totally different from what I was expecting, because the way that the story led, I said, that's gonna be silly, that's gonna be okay. And that was a dance movie.
Really?
Yes.
Man, that musicals, like I remember Moulin Rouge, it was my favorite movie, like this genre. And I started watching, like, why are people singing in the middle of the movie? What's happening? Then I watched Chicago and other movies like that. Do you have a favorite genre of movies that you just watch because of that type?
Yes, I do. It is sci-fi, of course.
Okay.
Sci-fi is the one that I really appreciate, and I normally, when there is a new release, I have to watch just to have an opinion and compare, like, with the ones that I have already watched.
Do you have, okay, this is a good way for us to go. Instead of me asking, what's your top 3 favorite movie? We can split them by their types. So, okay, sci-fi movies. What would you recommend to our listeners?
Okay, I have 2. Like, the one that I like because of personal experience, and the one that I think everybody should watch.
Okay.
So the one that I like the most, it is The Matrix. The Matrix is my favorite one because there are lots of things, not just because the movie is good, because it was a breakthrough in visual effects and everything, but the story is nice, and my personal experience with commenting with friends, watching together. But a movie that everybody should watch is Interstellar. Watch it. You have to, because that's the best one. Like,
Okay, I will try that again, okay? Sell this movie in 1 minute to our listeners.
oh, that's hard.
I
Oh
know,
my
I know it
goodness.
is.
Okay.
Okay.
But Interstellar is a movie about it involves two different things. It involves like people in doing things that they normally do, but with a different thing. In the movie, it's inserted time travel experience. But the interesting thing is based on reality, scientific things. So we have that base that something is likely to happen, because it is totally based on research with lots of professionals from the field. So
From Hawking's work about wormholes and multiverses, something like this, I guess.
yeah, there are lots of researchers involved in the project, and I don't recall all their names, but they spend a lot on that.
No, yeah, and this is a type of movie. It's the same with Matrix, that you can just watch once, you know. So you watch it for a second time, and you get something new. There's aha, now I can see that. Maybe a third, a fourth. How many times have you watched Interstellar?
Oh, because that's hard. I think twice or three times. But the same movie director, Christopher Nolan,
Yeah.
he has created like Tenet, that is used time travel experience, and I had to watch like a couple of times to understand that. That is pretty hard. Inception with Leonardo DiCaprio. That is, it's not about time travel, but it's totally crazy, and crazy in a good way. I mean,
You dream you are inside a dream to
yeah,
influence someone.
isn't it
It's called
cool?
subliminal message. It happens nowadays, guys. Okay, be aware.
And Interstellar, that is amazing.
All right. Would you like a remake of any movie that hasn't been made yet? Like a movie you watched it long ago and say, "Oh, I would like to watch this with the technology we have today."
I'm kind of traumatized with it. I don't think that's a good idea, because we had the Matrix 4. Matrix is my favorite movie, but
Yeah.
Matrix 4, what is that?
I know. Damn, I got disappointed with that one
And
as well.
our technology is great, so we had everything on our hands, but what was that? So,
Good.
nah.
Well, okay, I'll be the devil's advocate for a little. I think they are making an okay work with Jurassic Park, because the recent ones that you have this high tech is the same story. Dinosaurs and end of the world. But it's kind of doing well on the it's selling, right? I don't know.
Yes, I stopped watching like Jurassic Park, because I think they diverse a lot from what it used to. So I'm not so sure if the franchise is doing so well nowadays. But yeah, it's a different way to explore dinosaurs. They didn't change much. So yeah.
Okay, I already know the answer, but I'm gonna ask anyway. Is there any remake that you think is better than the original? If you like horror movies, I'm gonna, kind of give you one here. I like the 1995 remake of the movie The Shining. The first one everybody loves because it is the acting of Jack Nicholson, But as the whole thing, as a movie, the whole thing, I rather watch the remake. Don't kill me, guys. Don't hate me. It's just a personal preference. So, do you have anything like that? The remake being better than the original?
I think so. I think I can recall a case. It is called Conde de Monte Cristo.
Okay.
It's a very different one. I don't recall the way that they adapted the name for English, but I think it is kind of similar.
Yeah, the Count of Monte Cristo, probably.
Yeah, the Count
Yeah.
of Monte Cristo.
Probably that.
And that one, it was amazing, because I have like vivid memory watching that with my dad. We were in the living room, and he was saying like, "That's a good movie." And I said, "Which one?" And then he mentioned, and he was explaining why. And I was a little kid, and then I watched it after a couple of years. I think more than 10 years later, I watched another version, and I said, "Wow, it's not changing the story. They keep like key elements, but it's much better. Soundtrack, the performing, the some selections, some choices they made. It was great. It was better than the original one.
Okay. Somebody asked here about Mario. Have you seen Mario? The movie Mario, okay? What Mario? The movie.
No, not yet. That's on my list. I have to.
Yeah, but I'm saying that is like the top one most watched animation. You know, more than Frozen and the Shrek and it's something that we were talking before, like when you make something that is directed to the fans, you know, a real fan service, oh, look what a surprise, it sells a lot, you know. Would you like to see any adaptation of anything specific that hasn't been made yet?
Yes, I really like Japanese animes, and I really would like to see some, but as I told you, I don't have good experience watching like adaptations like Death Note and Dragon Ball and many others. Like,
Death Note, there is the Japanese ones. Have you seen it?
Yes, the Japanese and the American one.
Are they bad too?
The American it's worse. But yeah, they are different. But yeah, I think it was not what we fans are expecting from.
Well, at least I haven't lost my time because I saw them say, okay, maybe it's better. Because the best thing on the American one is William Dafoe, and it's still bad. They could get an awesome actor and do something, you know. I'm really concerned about One Piece, you know, because I really love One Piece, and they are making the live action of it.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna give you my opinion because I don't like One Piece.
No, that's normal, totally fine. The first episodes is kind of silly and a lot of humor, and you know, but I don't know. I really got hooked on the show, and then I said, oh my god, you know, I have mixed feelings. I have a polemic one as well that is about Lord of the Rings. You know, people were discussing doing a remake of the 2001 and 2 and 3 movies, and I don't think that should be made. But I am one of those fans that would love to see Peter Jackson doing a version of Silmarillion. And that's where I see the fans going crazy. You mentioned that you enjoy Lord of the Rings, right?
Yes, I do. I did. I did and I still do.
Okay. Would you like to see the Silmarillion being adapted?
Why not? We have like the Hobbit, and it would be good, yes, exploring, because Tolkien's universe is so rich. Why not?
Yeah, but the fans, they normally say, because they will disrespect Tolkien, and because I don't know, I think was Christopher, you know, his son, he mentioned in some interviews, whatever, that he had never seen the movies because he said that they kind of disrespected the original work of his father. Like, they just transformed everything my father has made into some action movies and blah, blah, blah. But it's beautiful. You got a lot of fans because of the movies, reading the books. I'm talking to the camera like Christopher's gonna watch it. Okay, good. But you know, man. So Silmarillion, people are kind of concerned about that because it's very abstract. You know, it's like adapting, I don't know, part of the Bible that is like a description of how everything was created. So, but I would like to watch it. You know?
Real fans, they would like to see that, and why not? Like,
have you seen the Amazon series, Rings of Power?
Of course.
Did you like it or not?
Yes, I did. I don't think it was bad.
Me neither.
I really enjoyed like all the characters. I like the way they introduced the stories. I was not expecting Galadriel to be that way. I really enjoyed.
You know, ironically, what was the biggest criticism that this series got? Is too slow. Have you ever read a page that Tolkien has written? Like, he's describing a walk from here to a tree, like 3 chapters, you know, because he describes the color of the grass and how was the sunshine on that, you know, it's like that. So this was one of the complaints about the fans. It's too slow and no action scenes and yada, yada, yada.
But if we compare other TV shows, they started like that. No TV show has started already at the maximum power they have.
Of course not, yeah.
So they have to develop characters. There were lots of fights, lots of visual effects that they are totally worth for a first season. It was a great one.
Nice. have you ever learned something like for life, really, from a movie, man? Like a life lesson, something like that?
Yeah, sure. I think one of aspect that I have learned from the movies, it's based, for example, I remember a book that I have read, and then I watched the remake, like the adaptation, not a remake, the adaptation for that movie. It was Dan Brown's books. More specifically, it was Da Vinci's Code.
Ah, okay.
And then by the time that I was reading the book, I said, "Wow, there's lots of effects in here. Are they true or not?" And then it made me research and have this passion to research, to ask to ask for more. And that was something that I learned from movies.
Okay, nice. There is a nice question here. Adriele asked, if you could only watch one movie for the rest of your life, what would it be?
The Blue Lagoon. No, I'm kidding.
I
No,
have
it's too much.
been watching that for years when I was a kid. You know, I only had Global TV. I watched it a dozen times.
No, I'm just kidding. But as I said, I have a favorite movie. So I have to watch my favorite movie. Just in case I have just that, it is The Matrix. Everybody knows already. So.
Nice. I don't know if I'm weird, but I do this every year. I have this list of movies that I watch them for different reasons. Lord of the Rings trilogy, the extended one, of course. You mentioned that you liked drama movies. Have you seen the movie I Am Sam?
I Am Sam?
Man.
No, I don't think so.
No, so you haven't. It's impossible.
Well, what is that about?
All right. How can I sell it in a way that you're gonna watch it tonight and you're gonna cry your eyes out? There is about a father and a daughter relationship, but the father, he has a he's mentally impaired, and he has the mental capacity of a 7-year-old. All his friends, they have a sort of a mental problem too, you know, but they are the best friends ever. So you start seeing how much care I'm starting to get emotional just to remember some scenes of the movie. I Am Sam. In Portuguese, they translated the name in Portuguese was something like Uma lição de amor, you know. And it's beautiful because the movie is exactly about that. What does it mean to love someone, to be a real friend, a real father? And then Child Services eventually wants to separate the daughter from the father and put her in a foster home for adoption. And then he needs a lawyer to fight for him and his friends and support. So no more spoilers about that, you know. But it's a movie that every single moment of it is special. You cannot even blink, you know. You are watching something and you are learning something there. It's amazing. That's a movie I watch every year. Whew, I got emotional here. Okay. So would you what drama movie would you recommend, really?
A drama.
You want to make people cry for a good reason, you know?
I have two. I have just mentioned one. I have to start with one that I personally like a lot. That is the first book that I have ever read. It was The Color Purple. So I skipped class one day just to watch this, but that's a very interesting story. I was not into studying that day, so I skipped class just to walk around, and I decided to go to the library. I skipped class to go to the library, and then I decided to pick up a book, and then I had tons of hours to read, and then I picked up one. That was the first book that I read entirely, because like usually we read some pages. And I watched that movie as well. And it was directed by Steven Spielberg. That movie is fantastic because it talks about racism, about people knowing their place, their rights at a time that the society is very restrict, lots of discrimination and racism. So that one is great. And I totally think people should watch.
Man, this is an interesting point about what do we watch? Why do we watch movies? You know, why are they made for? Money, yes, I know, but other than that, it can be a very easy and calm way to put on the table some topics that people have a hard time discussing. Like you said, racism or whatever you are discussing there. Sometimes in our daily routine, we don't stop and consider, because sometimes it's not our reality. You know, there is a group of people that see and go through that every day. So when you watch a movie that is a success, you put this discussion there. So it's a way that you can actually influence our society, our behavior in a good perspective, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I think we have this need of leaving our bubble and get in contact with something different. For example, recently we had that movie, The Whale, that was a Oscar winner.
I have to watch this one.
So we have different contact with different characters in different situations, and I think we need to be exposed to that so that we leave our bubble and understand people in different situations, because that's the sense of living in society. So we have to put ourselves in people's shoes, and that's one of the functions of movies.
Yeah, it totally works, because you are so present in the moment to say, oh my God, I wish this would never happen to anyone. Oh, it does actually, you know. Nice, man. Okay, there is one more in the chat here. Well, what about Fight Club? Have you seen it? Do you like it?
Yes, of course.
Consumerism.
It was very different,
Yeah.
and based on the plot twist, that is amazing. Of course, I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but it's amazing, and it's a movie that it has social criticism. So it is not just entertaining. It's based on something that we have to stop and think about it.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. We're almost running out of time, but don't worry, I'm gonna cover everything in our chat here. One moment, guys. Any film recommendations? Yes, we have. Okay, we will give him a little more. Okay, it's impossible to understand Donnie Darko. Go to I think it's donniedarko.com, and you can download the book from the movie that has an explanation. I won't give because I actually don't remember everything. Fight Club, okay. I don't want to watch the new version of The Shining. Well, the version that I mentioned, I was very scared, by the way, because I was young, and it's from 1995, you know, but the acting is not bad, you know, it's not like Jack Nicholson, but it's a good movie if you like suspense, horror movies, okay. Yeah, the I Am Sam, all the soundtrack is made with Beatles songs. Yeah, many different versions. So if you are a Beatle fan, you're gonna love it as well. Sure. Yeah, The Count of Monte Cristo. What do you think of Quentin Tarantino movies?
Okay, so Quentin Tarantino is my favorite movie director. All my students know already about that.
That's why the question, maybe.
I've watched like basically all of his movies, then I really like that. Many people don't really appreciate his art because it takes place in violent scenarios.
Yeah.
But it is different. It is in a way that you don't get disgusted about it. It is just different. Sometimes you even laugh.
Yeah, so, that's something he does a lot.
And I said, how can I laugh at such a destruction? But yes, he has this power.
But that's something that is interesting, maybe, because I would have to ask, you know, I have my own criteria about that, but what do you think makes a good movie? You know, one of the things I normally say is it needs to take you out of the comfort zone and to cause a strong emotion. So if you're watching a comedy, you need to laugh your ass off. If you're watching an action movie like The Rampage, you want to get excited, or Transformers that you see explosions and robots, Godzilla versus King Kong, this type of movies that they have a, let's say, more simple script. But if you're watching a drama, you will question reality, you will cry a lot, or a science fiction movie, that happens a lot. Like, okay, what is real, you know? So that's how I see. But how do you see, Will? This is a good movie because of that, you know?
I think movies to be considered good, we have to take into consideration the genre of the movie, because that makes it takes a very important role in deciding whether the movie is good or not.
Okay.
But the main function is getting people entertained and make it like it. So if you are watching a movie and you don't feel connected to it, so that was not a good movie. So, for example, I have watched movies that I was not expecting, and then as I comment about clothes, but I really liked the movie, even though I cried the entire movie. I liked that. I was not expecting that. So this kind of surprises, plot twists, visual effects, you have to get linked to the story.
Okay, movies with an interesting plot twist. Let's go.
We commented already the Flight Club. It is like one that it has lots of plot twists.
M. Night Shyamalan. I think. Sorry if I misspelled his last name, but Mr. or M. Night Shyamalan. I guess he makes a lot of movies with that, crazy plot twist. You are watching something, say, "Haha, I figured it out." Oh, I haven't. So the last one is it's a movie with David Bautista. The former wrestler. But the movie about aliens with Mel Gibson. I forgot all the names of the movies.
I think I know what you are talking about.
Yeah, science. Thank you. That's one of his movies. There is one that is about the end of the world and people start committing suicide. It's really mind blowing. The movie The Village, I guess.
The Village.
It's from him. So he likes movies that makes your head, mind-blowing movies.
I watched it like The Village. They had those monsters with...
Yeah.
No spoilers, because that's in the trailer.
Exactly. Good. Yeah. Okay, you mentioned something interesting about making the audience feel connected to the movie. So... What do you think about, I think it was Scorsese, I don't know the director, but he says something like, these superhero movies, Marvel movies, they're not really, cinema. They're not really, that. How do you see this, Will?
You studied wrong, of course, because movies is like art. So what can you consider art or not art? That people have different conceptions of that. If it is a production, is an art, so it is automatically, as a consequence, a movie. If it is good or not, the audience is gonna judge. And we have the numbers of hero movies, people going to the movies like in waves that we have never seen before.
Yeah.
So that's a proof that superhero movies, they are different from old school movies. I don't mean that they are better or they are less important, but they are art, they are movie.
Yeah, and it's serving its purpose, that is to entertain people, to make people laugh, Oh, one recommendation from Kadu here. Thanks, Kadu. Fall from 2022. Crazy plot, I recommend it. Thank you so much. Well, we have time for one last question, I mentioned that I would love to see an adaptation of the game is Skyrim. It's my favorite game. They are adapting The Witcher, The Last of Us, Resident Evil, But okay. Is there any game that you would like to see adapted for a series or a movie?
Game, that's a nice one.
Yeah. Mario example.
I've spent like my young age as an adult playing Ragnarok. It is an online game, and the universe is really great. I really would like to see that in adaptation, either a movie or a TV show. That would be great because it involves fantasy, power, magic, swords. So
okay, my type of gaming would be my type of movie as well. Okay, would you like to be in any movie if possible?
Oh, I don't think so.
It doesn't mean like I don't mean like as an actor, but maybe like screenwriter, anything like that, or director maybe.
That would be a nice experience. I think helping like behind the scenes, yes, totally. Maybe with the story, because I think I have like good ideas on how the movie could go. So yeah.
What would you like to be part of? What type of movie?
Science fiction, of course.
Okay, it would be like this time travel and mind-blowing things as well.
With tons of plot twists, because I think that's it needs to have, guiding the audience in a certain way that they expect something, but then we just take their carpet under their feet and then yes.
Okay, I remember one more. Oh, there's more in the chat here. Plot twist. The Departed. I heard about this one, but I haven't watched it. Yeah, and Searching 2018 is a really great movie and it comes with a plot twist. I recommend you the movie. Oh, I don't know if you have seen this one. If you haven't, you're gonna like it. It's called Mr. Nobody.
Yes, I watch it.
Man, this is
About
one
memory,
of my,
right?
yeah, this is is with the best movie with Jared Leto, in my opinion.
It is
And
the last man alive who is mortal, I think.
yeah, okay,
But
let's
that
talk about that one.
but that is in the trailer.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
in
a
the trailer.
spoiler.
The movie's basically like this. Everybody's kind of immortal because of stem cells, they are taken from pigs, right? Inserted in humans. So everybody lives forever, which is also an interesting philosophical concept. What would we do if we lived forever? Would life get boring? And it has a kind of criticism with reality shows because what is happening? The main character of the movie, that he doesn't have a name. He's Mr. Nobody. He doesn't remember anything because he's 100-something years old. And that's not a hyperbole. He's really 100-something years old. And he's the last human alive. I mean, natural human who is gonna naturally die. And then they have this vote on live television. Okay, should we save Mr. Nobody so he will also be immortal? Or should we just let nature follow its course and he's gonna die? So the movie starts like this. And then, I'm speaking too much, but I'm not gonna tell you any more details. Just something like this. It's like watching 10 movies at the same time because the movie talks about free will. So imagine you have a scene where your parents get a divorce. So you will have one line in the movie if he has lived with his mother after the breakup. And then you have a simultaneous timeline of the movie as he has lived with his father and all the possible consequences. Different profession, different wife, and different kids. So everything changes. And then you start to rooting for one specific timeline there, Anything else that you would like to say about that movie?
No, about Leto performance in the movie.
Yeah.
It is great. I like him, like in any role that he plays. But
Even the Joker, that was the polemic one. I had to ask,
yeah, I don't think he did a bad
I agree with
work
you,
in
man.
there. But I think the adding didn't contribute, maybe, because I think he put a lot of effort into that, but
He
maybe
always
the
does.
adding of the movie didn't help him too much, maybe, because he's a nice actor.
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
make sense that just in that one he wouldn't go so well.
No, he is. I don't know if it's a curse or the guy is really jinxed. Like whenever somebody puts him as in a superhero role, yes, I'm talking about Morbius as well. They screw up the production, and the problem was like they sold that movie as it would be like a Joker story with Harley Quinn and everything else, And it wasn't. He had, I don't know, 10 minutes of screen time, maybe something like
Honestly,
that.
just what I would remove from that movie, maybe the tattoos, because
Yeah, it makes no sense.
I think they just changed the character, and that was one of the facts, in my opinion, that changed the course of what people, the way people see him.
And the acceptance of the public, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I saw the discussions, people saying, what an interesting thought, a totally chaotic guy like the Joker laying down, and waiting for hours for somebody to finish a tattoo. It makes no sense, I got the hair and the I don't know, the teeth,
special braces
yeah,
that
it was
he-
something
he
like
was
that,
wearing.
diamond teeth or golden teeth, whatever. But I liked his laugh, and the laugh is in Mr. Nobody. There, laugh is already there. But yeah, man, I got really disappointed. And then I remember watching Morbius, like, okay, Jared Leto, now is your time for redemption. Quack, 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 quack.
But vampires, like, okay. Yeah.
He has a lot of potential there. That's what I mean, But you know who could do that? Ryan Reynolds. The DC movie Green Lantern was kind of a fiasco, especially because of the suit. And he was born to be Deadpool. I don't know if you watched Deadpool, but
Yes, it did.
man, it's It's a perfect adaptation of the comics, you know. Would you, can you remember, Willie, any other character or actor that could do something like that? You know, like bad moves and then eventually, success?
I don't know, but I'm really keen on Keanu Reeves. Everything that he put his hands on, I think it's a huge success. So I would just go because of his name on the movie. Even not watching the trailer, I would just go for it.
I'm exactly like this with Leslie Nielsen, the comedian, you know, and with Jim Carrey as well. Whatever they put Jim Carrey, even in bad movies, I watch because I want to see, you know, his performance. I got a recommendation here to watch Sonic because of Sonic 2 because of Jim Carrey. I definitely will. Okay, is there any movie considered bad that you love?
Bad.
Yeah, that would be my final question to you.
Oh my
bad movie
goodness.
that you love.
I wouldn't say a movie. Can I change for a TV show?
Of course.
Everybody says about OA from Netflix. It's a very crazy TV show, but I really love it.
What's the plot about?
It's very crazy, so it's very hard to explain, but it's about like people who were kidnapped and they were kept in a place. So it starts showing them in cages. They are not free and they don't know what is going on, like why they are there, and they don't know why they are there and why the people are there. They are trying to break free, and they try to explain what is going on with different theories, and it is totally different. But it's that kind of TV show or movie that you either love or hate, and I love it.
I said it was my last question, but I lied. Because I have a new one here. Sorry, man. Something that's a problem with streaming. Okay, we can close with this one. And if you have any recommendations, guys, use the chat. I was looking at the chat. Use the chat. But some problems that we have been facing nowadays is that a lot of shows are being canceled, especially on the streaming platforms. You know, a lot of them. Could you think in a way that to avoid that? Because the last one that I got really pissed off was is from the producers of the show Dark. You know? There was some polemics that the show kind of, you know, copy Brazilian comic book, something like that, you know. And I don't know if this helped for the canceling of the show, but I really liked the show as well, and it's involving science fiction, all of that. You're gonna love it, even knowing that there won't be a second season, you know. But I don't know, some shows like Lucifer, for example, they could continue. So what could we do to avoid this, you know?
But sometimes it is not a bad thing. It's a bad call to end, because especially Netflix and streaming platforms, they have the data showing like if it's a success or not. And from the get-go, they know if it's good to continue with the product. They don't know based on personal things. They usually take this decision based on the information users. And most of the times I agree with them. Not the case of OA, in fact, because I think that was not fair with the TV show. But yeah, some of them I think it's okay.
So, showrunners, if you are producing anything, please do a lot of fan services. You're gonna get rich by doing that. Well, thank you so much, Willie, for being here. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
We need to do
here.
round 2, round 3. We can talk for hours.
That was great.
And thank you so much for being here with us. All of you who sent a message on the chat. We are going to be posting constantly here on YouTube, okay? This show is part of Times Idiomas. I hope you enjoyed a lot. My name is Maick, your host, and I am already excited for episode number 4. Bye-bye, guys.